Coverage of the 2011 Combine Performance Clinic is brought to you by Canola Watch. Free, unbiased, timely, and research-focused.
We're at the Canola Council of Canada's Combine Clinic in Westlock, Alberta. And with me is Garry McLean, who's the Area Service Manager with New Holland. Garry, what are the top 3 general tips you would give growers when setting their combines for canola?
I would suggest the top 3 major ones would probably be make sure your concaves are adjusted properly. Probably another real good one would be the proper wind adjustment on your sieves, along with make sure your sieves are adjusted properly. Make sure they're not open too far or closed too far, because it just basically they have to be set pretty near exactly bang on, because if you don't set them properly, you're going to put it over, and when you put the crop over into another sieve, onto the other sieve, it's liable to come out the back door, and we call it throwing over the grain into the field, and it doesn't look good. Like,
what's the best way to check to make sure your sieves are adjusted properly?
Well, some like Case and New Holland and ourselves and John Deere usually, there's a adjustment width that we usually go for. There's some guys have a tool, some guys don't have a tool, but usually if you've been around the combines for any length of time, you kind of go by the settings that you had the previous year. The rule of thumb, some of them is between 3/8 and 7/16 of an opening, so that seems to work pretty good, But that's what I would recommend. Make sure that the sieves are set properly, and the concaves I would say is probably your number one.
Follow the manual,
I would suggest follow the manual, but then like if you're around the combine and every operator has different settings on combines, so the better you know the combine, the better you know how to set it. Like usually if you have a brand new combine, after the first year you pretty much know for what you got to set the combine for the next year, so. But manuals, you can always refer to your manuals. There's good information in there, but manuals are good, but lots of times the manuals aren't exactly the way you want to set something, so just go from there, I guess.
Are there any particular areas on this combine where a grower should be watching for leaks? Canola has a habit of trickling out.
Yeah, I would say the thresher doors would be a real good area. We like to have a look around. There's a couple of doors up on top, up by the just above the rotor belts. Especially canola, like the cereal isn't so bad, but there's canola can drop down, and what it'll do is it'll drop down right in the belt area, and of course with the canola it gets oily, and then of course it causes your rotor belt to slip and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, there's I would say caulk around the grain elevator. That's another one that should be checked. Basically, if I was the operator, what I would do is I'd just go around the top, start at the top and go down the bottom, and right from top to bottom, and if there's any little areas that you think needs recaulked or sealed or whatever, I know with our machines, if there's any of that going on, we just go and get a tube of nice black caulking and caulk it off so it doesn't look so bad either, but I know probably 95% of the combines have leakage here and leakage there, but what are you going to do? I mean, canola is fairly expensive. I mean, you try your darndest to get it all out, stop all the leaks, but you still have some leaks regardless, so.
Are stopping these leaks, is that something that growers could be doing in the off season, or do you need to be out in the field?
I would go over the combine, like a lot of guys, they go over the combine a week or so before they go into the field or whatever, and what a lot of guys do is they'll fire up the combine, and some of the guys I do is they'll just fire up the combine and then walk around it and make sure they see, like where the dust is coming out and all this kind of stuff, like your elevator chains. If there's anything in there, you can usually see there's always something that's going to fall out, or there'll be dust blowing out of there in that general area from the wind in the combine. But yeah, I would say.
Anything else a grower should be looking for during that pre-season inspection?
Belt adjustments. That's one area that I would recommend. Belt adjustments, chain adjustments, all your grease points. Make sure your chains are adjusted. A lot of people like to adjust their belts, lubricate their belts, lubricate their chains. That's probably one of the most important things, is just be prepared and be ready for the field. And pretty much it goes right from the front of the combine to the back of the combine. Like, you got so many chains on each side. You got elevator chains, you got feeder chains, and if all that stuff is adjusted properly before you hit the field, it just makes that much less downtime. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
With the way canola has changed, the plant itself, the physiology of the plant, the growth pattern, is there any technical issues that you'd like to end off with that growers need to keep in mind?
The only issues, and I would assume it's pretty much across the border, would be I've noticed, like I said, in the last half a dozen years, it seems to me that, I don't know whether it's a different brand of canola or whatever, but it seems the canola is always ready to be thrashed in the pod. It's always nice and dry, but then you've got a stalk that's probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch in diameter, and when you put that through the combine, it all has to go through the combine. But what we recommend is, we got kind of it's kind of like a serrated raspar that we put in there, and that seems to help the chopping up of the stalk before it goes through the back end of the combine.
So, and that's right on the rotor?
That's right on the rotor, yeah. And there's, like for us, we have 3 or 4 different serrated. We have the serrated intake lugs. We have the added, it's called the ejector pins, that on the rotor itself, there's a threaded spot where you can put a lug in there that's about 1.5 to 2 inches high. You can stick them in there, and of course what that does is it just pulverizes the stalk and beats it up and all this kind of stuff, and it just helps, I guess it just helps it go right through the combine and get a better thrashing. The better it thrashes, it seems, the less crap you got in the tank. What you're working with is, you're working with dry canola, and you're also working with very, very damp stalks, because they're not ready to go through the combine. So that's pretty much it for the adjustments. And there's lots of different companies that have different expellers and all that kind of stuff, but what we kind of want to do is kind of just stick to our own, what we have in our our brand name stuff. So
good.
But yeah,
thanks, Garry.
You betcha. Thank you very much.
I've been speaking with Garry McLean, who's the area service manager with New Holland.